The new 2.0 update dropped for Super Mario Maker 2. While a certain someone from a different franchise is taking the spotlight, I want to focus on my boy Spike, who I think, along with the Spike Balls, is actually the most useful new addition in this update. So today, I want to go over some of my ideas on how to effectively use Spike Balls, and Snowballs in levels. We'll start simple and go a little bit more complicated as the video goes on. First off, we have Mario 1 and Mario 3 themes. In this theme, Spike will throw Spike Balls and they'll hover in the air. However, if you want them to go into their rolling state, then there's actually a pretty simple way around this. If a spike is stacked on top of a muncher with a ground block in front of it, then the spike balls will land onto the ground block and then start rolling. This only works if he's stacked on a muncher, as they are slightly shorter than blocks, which make the spike balls throw lower, causing it to land on the ground instead of just going over it. This is more helpful than the floating ones in my opinion in, say, traditional levels. Spike balls will automatically start rolling if leaving from a pipe or a blaster as well, or if they're just placed down. But if you want to use a spike and still have them roll on the ground, then use the setup. If you want the player to be able to defeat Spike and not be able to get hit by the muncher, then just place a semi-solid over the muncher, that way the player can't get hit after they defeat Spike. Next is a recreation of everyone's favorite Smash Ultimate edge guarding tool, the Patooey. This is of course based off a variation of the Piranha Plants in the Mario games, where they spit up a spike balls above them. This is a pretty simple recreation, just using a track above the Piranha, which does the job pretty well in my opinion. The spike balls look exactly like the Patooey, so it works very well. If you want, you could even make the Piranha Plant spit out the balls towards the player using a setup like this. You can have two balls on the tracks which loop forever. This could be pretty useful for, say, if you want to recreate a level with these guys, or just in a traditional level using Piranha Plants. The only sad thing is that if you kill the Piranha Plant, the spike balls don't stop. But still, I think this works pretty well, and maybe a way could be found around this. Next up, I wanted to use a snowball for an idea. So what better than a snowball fight? This only works in Mario 3 due to how the spikes work. Basically, Mario has found himself in a room with 4 spikes on the other side. Mario must use the infinite snowballs coming from the pipe above to kill all 4 spikes. Unfortunately, the spikes are firing back with their own snowballs, which will cause Mario to take so much knockback, causing him to fall off the small platform he's on. This is actually pretty challenging, but it's fun nonetheless, especially with this being technically a snowball fight. Some of the things I should mention about this fight is that the last one in line should have the key. They should be stacked onto munchers, as if they aren't, they'll actually run off the platform. And bumpers should split the arenas, since snowballs can go through them while Mario can't. You can also make this in multiplayer, however I like this more for a single player fight, as it's kind of a goofy one. You can even make it to where the player can retry if they fail by having a reset door. Either way, I think this is a fun, while slightly challenging boss fight. Our next thing is how to use these in 3D World, and how they can be used to easily get shells. Normally, you can't place shells in 3D World, which drastically limits some of the things you can do, like a simple on-off timer setup. However, using spike balls, you can get shells for timers fairly easily. All you have to do is this setup right here if it's loaded in all at once by, say, entering through a door or a pipe, or having it at the start of the level, or if the player is going to the right, then use this setup. Using these setups, we can have a section like this, where the player has to jump off spike blocks that are getting triggered on and off. These setups are the most compact form that I could think of, however there may be some possible improvements, so I highly suggest experimenting something like this yourself. Our next room actually sees 2 uses of the spike balls. Mario starts at the top of the room where he must spin on the spike ball to continue. A simple thwomp detector is used to detect where Mario is, and if he's in the entering area. Suddenly, they both drop down as Mario has to continue spinning on top of the spike ball, as the floor is full of munchers. At the side of the arena, there's a spike timer. This requires Spike to throw 3 spike balls to activate a POW, and allow Mario to leave. So first off is the spinning part, which can be done in Mario World and in Mario U. You can have Mario spin over munchers, spikes, and other obstacles. For the spike timer, you can change it to what it activates, like for example, an on-off switch. You can also have the spike balls leave a pipe or blaster if you don't want Spike to throw them. This timer works in all themes except for Mario World, unfortunately, as there isn't a block that the spike ball can destroy that would be helpful for a timer like this. I decided to combine these 2 setups for a fun little survival room, but these 2 things can be both used together and separately. And finally, for our final tip, we have another boss fight. Mario is in another room, and above him is a pipe that dispenses spike balls. However, this one isn't actually a threat to Mario. In fact, he'll be using this to defeat the real enemy, Bowser. Mario has to lead the spike ball safely across the top to defeat Bowser, which he must do 4 times. In this case, he has to hit the on-off switch at the right time, and to activate a thwomp at the right time. However, once Mario hits Bowser twice, the fight gets a slight bit harder. Mario has to wait till a timer runs out before he can continue, now needing to not only dodge Bowser's fire, but a pipe that had opened up, which is now dispensing evil spike balls at him. However, even with these added obstacles, Mario is still able to do it. Now I think this works pretty well as a final boss fight for a level based around the spike balls. The top can be pretty much anything you want to make it harder or easier. You can also make the spike balls at the top smaller to make the Bowser require more hits to defeat. For the second phase of the fight, I have a Piranha Tower here, and once 2 spike balls have gone through it, a P-switch will activate. I wanted to add a second phase to this boss fight since I don't really see many levels including something like that. Also, to prevent the plants from sticking to the walls if you want to have a second phase in your fight, give them wings. There's a lot that can be customized in this boss fight, so I again suggest you trying this out for yourself, messing around and seeing what other setups you can make. But anyways, that's all my ideas for now. How do you all like the Spike and the 2.0 update? Let me know in the comments. I've been really happy with this update, and I really want to make a Spike ball level using some of the ideas in this video. But either way, if you like this video, then please leave a like or consider subscribing, as that helped me out a huge bunch. And speaking of which, we're almost at 10,000 subscribers, which, that's just crazy. I mean, like, honestly, we hit 1,000 in October, and we're almost 10 times that much in like 2 months. And I've been doing YouTube for like 7 years, so this is actually insane. I love you all so much. Thank you so much. But anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.